Morning. If you'll join me in giving voice to the Spirit this morning. First one is, we are a gentle and angry people. We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are LGBTQIA, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are LGBTQIA, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a justice-seeking people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a justice-seeking people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are young and old together, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are young and old together, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a land of many colors, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a land of many colors, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. On this next one, listen between the verses and follow me up a half step. You'll get it. One more step, we will take one more step, till there is peace for us and everyone. We'll take one more step, one more word. We will say one more word, till there is peace for us and everyone. We'll say one more word, one more prayer. We will pray one more prayer, till there is peace for us and everyone. We'll say one more prayer, one more song. We will sing one more song, till there is peace for us and everyone. We'll sing one more song. And we will, right now. Give light, and the people will find a way. Give light, and the people will find a way. Give light, and the people will find a way. People will find a way, I do believe. Teach peace, and the people will find a way. Teach peace, and the people will find a way. Teach peace, and the people will find a way. People will find a way, I do believe. Give hope, and the people will find a way. Give hope, and the people will find a way. Give hope, and the people will find a way. People will find a way, I do believe. Give love, and people will find a way. Give love, and the people will find a way. Give love, and the people will find a way. People will find a way, I do believe. Give light, and the people will find a way. Give light, and the people will find a way. Give light, and the people will find a way. People will find the way, I do believe.
To sing with you is home to me, a compass at the close of day, to guide my soul in deeper ways, as o'er the years I roam. To sing with you is home. To sing with you is home to me, a throng of friends together bring. We set the ancient spirits free and drink the blended tone. To sing with you is home. To sing with you is home to me, beneath the sky all black and bright. We join the loud and holy night of galaxies unknown. To sing with you is home.
Good morning and welcome to White Bear Unitarian Universalist Church. We're delighted to have you here, whether you're in person or attending virtually. It's good to be together. Community of youth, adults, and children sharing the values of courage, reverence, and compassion. I'm Roger Upham. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm a member of the Board of Directors. If you are accompanied by children today, we warmly welcome your whole family. We invite you to explore our Soul Work Center, which is over here to the left, and in the chat box before the opening hymn. Please designed to help all ages actively engaged in today's worship service. If you have a joy or sorrow you would like to share in the meditation, please add it to the meditation bowl, which is over here, and near the Soul Work Center, or in the chat box before the opening hymn. Please make sure to gain consent before you put someone's whole name in the bowl. For those online, our cyber social hour starts 5 minutes after the postlude. In the building, our social hall is once again a hub of connection, informal conversations, and I'm sorry, no cookies. You can also find tables and information about upcoming events. We hope that you'll check it out. If you are looking for a short and structured time of connection and community, our formalized small group conversations are still happening. Please grab your coffee and then find your way to the Emerson alcove. Once a small group is gathered, we'll have about 20 minutes of focus sharing. After next week's service, we will have one additional event to add to our conversation circles in our social hour. We will also be having an artist meet and greet for the current show on display in the atrium. And lastly, together again is the meaningful concept that has inspired this year's service auction and bazaar. Bidding for the auction is still underway and will close on Wednesday. Get your bids in now, don't delay. There are many great items still available, and special bargains and sales may appear at any time, so keep checking. This auction is by and for our congregation, so we need your support and involvement. Registering and bidding is easy, and help is available in the social hall. The auction catalog is also posted on the wall outside the social hall, and don't forget our fund a need for the new minister's moving expenses. As for the bazaar, your donations are being accepted in the office this week during the usual hours that our church is open, and on Saturday between 3 and 5. We'll see you all there on December 3rd from 5:30 to 8 o'clock. Welcome to our church. Together, we grow our souls and serve the world.
Come in. Come into this place which we make holy by our presence. Come with all your vulnerabilities and strengths, fears and anxieties, loves and hopes, for here you need not hide, nor pretend, nor be anything other than who you are and who you are called to be. Come into this place where you can touch and be touched, heal and be healed, forgive and be forgiven. Come into this place where the ordinary is sanctified, the human is celebrated, the compassionate is expected. Come into this place. Together, we make it a holy place. Welcome. My name is Reverend Sarah Goodman. I use she, her pronouns. Bob will light our chalice.
Morning. A few years ago, we had about 15 people over for a big Thanksgiving dinner. Our tradition is to go around the table one by one and say what you're thankful for. Most of us were thankful for family, the beauty of nature, or to be living in America. But I asked my 8-year-old daughter, Emily, what she was thankful for, and she said, Pokemon. I was just a little bit embarrassed. Here's a child surrounded by her family who loves her, with a table laden with food, and she's thankful for a plastic toy. I thought of this when I Googled thankfulness this week and found a list of things that people are grateful for. There were certainly a lot of people grateful for world peace, but there was also toilet paper, avocados, tires in a car, and even the cranberries in the turkey dressing. I thought that these are trivial things and a waste of gratitude, right? Well, it turns out I was wrong again. As I kept on Googling, I found that everyone, from psychologists to gurus to teachers, tells us that thankfulness by itself is good for you. One website said gratefulness is strongly and consistently associated with happiness. Gratitude helps people have more positive emotions, relish good experiences, and build strong relationships. So when you show gratitude, you recognize that the source of goodness comes from outside yourself. It connects you, it helps you connect to something larger than yourself, other people, nature, or even a higher spiritual power. It did not say what to be grateful for. You can be grateful for anything. So I light the chalice today for the act of showing gratefulness.
So you may notice I am not Reverend Jack. Reverend Jack and Amy Peterson, who's our Director of Religious Education, are both out with colds today. So you get me today. Some of these words are mine, some are theirs. It'll be fine. Before I do our opening words, I want to just say we really are so grateful to have this Soul Work Center here in this corner where our kids are welcome to be themselves. And everyone is welcome to take a look over here and see if there's things you want to do. There's knitting, there's fidgets, there's all kinds of fun stuff in this corner, coloring. So get up, move around, do that whenever you feel like it. No need to be silent and still almost any part of this service. Just letting you know. And now I invite you to join with me in our opening words. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. And now I invite you to rise in body or spirit to sing. We sing now together number 67 in the gray hymnal. Again, I am not Amy Peterson, but she did write these words for our story. So any gratitude for it goes directly to her. Thank you, Amy. So part of the reason we take time for storytelling as part of worship is to intentionally hold space for different perspectives as an invitation to deepen our understanding of ourselves and the world around us. But also, I hope that sharing stories invites us each to consider our own stories as sacred and worthy of holding space for. We each carry our own stories and ideas based on our experiences in the world, and our individual stories are part of the larger fabric of the stories of our families and communities and the world, and they are sacred. One of the ways that we have helped children, youth, and adults explore this idea is by introducing a really fun and simple word association kind of activity, and we're going to invite you into that right now. So first, look for the baskets that are at the ends of some of the rows that have paper and pencils and crayons, and make sure everyone gets some paper and pencil or something to write with. And if you're at home, I invite you to go find something you want to write or draw on and get ready to share that out. So once everyone has some, are we passing them around? I know there's lots of people today. Making sure everyone gets something. Great. Okay. Whoop. Dropping things. When you each have paper or something to write with in hand, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes and make space for an image to come to mind for you. Then on the piece of paper, I want you to draw a picture or jot down some words to represent the image that came into your mind. It's important here that you don't overthink it, because you won't be graded on this activity. It isn't about making a perfect drawing or finding the perfect words. Really, you're just looking for the very first thing that comes into your mind. Okay, are you ready? Okay, close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Hold empty space for an image. The word is dog. 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 All right, take a moment. Think of that image, write something or draw something to represent dog. And if nothing came to mind, that's okay. No worries. Now, if it feels comfortable, go ahead and share the image, the words with the person sitting near you. If you aren't exactly near someone, feel free to move for a moment to show them your picture or words. Okay. Okay, before we get too far into our drawings, were your pictures the same as the other people's? Was everyone's picture of a dog the same? Yes or no? No. My best guess is there might have been some similarities and some differences. Maybe your image of a dog probably also had ears and a tail like your neighbor's, but I bet they were very different kinds of dogs. Maybe yours was a childhood pet and theirs was a famous cartoon character. I don't know. Or maybe the first thing that came into your head when I said dog was a cat, and so you drew a cat. The point is that the image that came to mind for you came out of your experience of dog. And your neighbor's words and images came out of their experience of dog. So I use this tool often to introduce different ideas of God, but also to remind us that we experience the world in our own unique way, and it is only one experience. It's only our way that we experience the world. And hopefully, your understanding of dog is richer after learning about the other person's understanding of dog. So we're going to do the exercise one more time. But this time we're going to give you a little more time to draw and write about it because it's a little bit more complicated image. We'll play some music for you, and then we'll have the opportunity to share with a neighbor later in the service about what came into mind for you for this word. So you can draw now in the music, and then you can keep working on it as we go through the service. So once again, take a deep breath, let it out, clear your mind, hold space for an image, and take breath. And the word is home. Home.
This community is sustained by the generosity of the people who call this place home. By giving to this morning's offering, you are giving life to the programs and services that make this place special. We'll pass the donation plates now, but you can also donate in 3 other ways. On the WBUUC webpage, send a check or leave a check in the lock box outside the front office, or use the text to give option found in your order of service or in the chat box. Whichever way you give, we thank you for your generosity and your faith in this life we live together.
I hope you'll join me in singing for our offertory today. We have a song with 2 parts to it. I'll lead and teach both parts separately, and then we'll divide and have this side do part 1 and this side do part 2. But here is how part 1 goes. Humbly we walk here, humbly we sing here, humbly we bless this ground. Let's try it. Humbly we walk here, humbly we sing here, humbly we bless this ground. Part 2 goes like this. Humbly and with gratitude, remembering the ancient ones who walked this ground. Humbly and with gratitude, remembering the ancient ones who walked this ground. Okay, so I'm gonna have this side, part 1, and I'll sing it with you to get you started, and then after I drop away, you sing it 3 times. Then we'll bring in part 2, I'll sing it with you, and once we're going, we'll sing it 2. So we kind of end together, but in any effect, if I do this, we're done. Not, as I say, I'm not a trained conductor. Okay. Humbly we walk here, humbly we sing here, humbly we bless this ground. Humbly we walk here, gratitude, remembering the ancient ones who walked this ground. I'm going to stop this for a moment because I made a mistake. I started it too low. I can do that, but it's not comfortable for many people. So let me try again. I'll start with part 1. Keep going. So, humbly we walk here, humbly we sing here, humbly we bless this ground. Humbly and with gratitude, remembering the ancient ones who walk this ground. Humbly we walk and with gratitude sing, remembering the ancient ones who walk this ground. Humbly we walk and with gratitude sing, remembering the ancient ones who walk this ground.
These meditation words are written by Reverend Jack. Gathered together as we are right now in this space and virtually, let's pause for a moment of stillness and meditation. Find a comfortable seat, feel your weight supported, relax your shoulders away from your ears, and just take a breath together. We have so much to be grateful for. Our list is long. These brisk, sunny days, our connections with our family and friends and pets, the everyday rituals that keep us going and grounded, and so much more. We pause for a moment of gratitude, holding on to the feeling that asks us to say thanks. Then we notice the beauty of our world. Gorgeous sunrises and sunsets paint the sky. Our natural surroundings of trees and rivers and plants and critters and lakes and flowers. We form human connections that range from fleeting to deep, and these connections sustain us. We pause for a moment of awe, holding on to the feeling that asks us to say, wow. And we also notice the complexity of our emotions, spanning the whole spectrum from joy to sorrows. We find ourselves in a position where we need support and care, as do those that we love. There can be so much struggle in this life: isolation and loneliness, addiction, death and disease, problems with our health, our mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional health. We pause for a moment of humility where we know and say that we can't do it alone. We can't find all the solutions on our own. We hold on to the feeling that asks us to say, help. This morning, our community is holding in light and love a number of people and families. We particularly hold out a prayer for tolerance, for people struggling with depression, for people with chronic fatigue. We hold a prayer for Brett, Phil, Tim, Tanya in AA. We hold Adam, Katie, and Henry Heathcote as Adam's father passed away on Monday after a series of strokes. Prayers of comfort and strength for the whole family are welcome. We hold Seth and Claire Schleicher, who are mourning the loss of Seth's father, Russ. He passed away unexpectedly on Wednesday. The family graciously requests prayers, especially for Seth's mother, Karen, as Russ was her first love. We hold Ginny Johansson and her wife, Ingrid Boersma, because Ginny is scheduled tomorrow for surgery for a resection of an aggressive cancerous mass in her brain. Prayers requested for a successful procedure and strength for Ginny and Ingrid, as well as their beloveds. We also hold a prayer for my father not my father, someone's father, to find a solution to loneliness that is not alcohol. And now, from a place of stillness, we speak out loud the names of those we're holding in our hearts and minds. Trusting that we can hold this all together. Blessed be and amen.
Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Long way from home, long way from home. Sometimes I feel like I'm almost gone. Sometimes I feel like I'm almost a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Long way from home, long way from home.
There is always more than one way to tell a story. And even those who are living a story don't know the full picture. So as we come together this weekend, the holiday weekend after Thanksgiving, I'm once again wondering, what is the story about the myth that is Thanksgiving? This American myth was created during the Civil War. Did you know that? To bring unity to a divided country. And something I didn't know until this year is that the fourth Thursday of November wasn't a recurring national holiday until 1941, and FDR was in office. Many of the stories that Americans have claimed as our history are in fact a retelling of a long past history to try and make a contemporary moment have more meaning. Did you know the story of Columbus wasn't popular until the 1890s, when there was a large population of Italian immigrants who were living in this country and being villainized because they were foreign and Catholic? Italian Americans grabbed onto this story of the myth that this Italian discovered America because it allowed them into the American story, into the majority. As historian Christopher J. Kaufman once wrote, Italian Americans grounded legitimacy in a pluralistic society by focusing on the Genoese explorer as a central figure in their sense of peoplehood. So embracing the story of Columbus sailing the ocean blue made it possible for Italian Americans to find a place here in American culture. But it also erased the awful things that Christopher Columbus did to the native people he encountered when he landed his ships in the Caribbean, thinking he had arrived in India or Asia. He tortured, enslaved, and intentionally spread illness to the indigenous peoples, and then encouraged more explorers to do the same. His life and legacy is a tragedy, and one that helped a whole lot of people claim a place at the American table, both at the same time. Now, Thanksgiving and the myth of the settlers and the indigenous peoples helping each other and holding a feast to give thanks for each other and the bond they formed, this was a myth created to bring a divided nation together in wartime, and used once again in wartime during World War II to encourage morale in the United States. According to historian Heather Cox Richardson, Lincoln had recently promised, this is in the Civil War, that the government would end slavery once and for all, and the country, he predicted, with a large increase in freedom, would survive stronger and more prosperous than ever. The president invited Americans in every part of the United States, and also those who were at sea and those who were sojourning in foreign lands, to observe the last Thursday of November as a day of Thanksgiving. Now, to me, to imagine a day of giving thanks for war makes me shiver with distaste. The myth that the Wampanoag people native to the land in Massachusetts where the settlers landed, that they welcomed the settlers without reservation, naively trusting them and sharing their bounty with them, is frustratingly unbelievable. There had been other English ships that had landed in the area, and they had seemed nice at first too, but soon they kidnapped a large number of the local people to sell in the slave trade. The local nations had recently lost a significant number of people to illness as well that was brought by those same ships. In fact, that's why there weren't any people living on the land that the settlers took over. The people had all died or gone to be a part of other communities. The truth is, after the settlers' first successful harvest, they celebrated by shooting their guns in the air, which alerted the Wampanoag people. And so they brought 90 warriors to come to the aid of the settlers who they thought were at war. And they did this because they had made a treaty to protect each other and to help each other in that way. But when they arrived, they found that it was a celebration. So yes, they feasted together, but it wasn't this like magical event that they started a relationship and bringing these enemies together. No, that's not what happened. So yes, there is often a kernel of truth in the stories we tell, but whose truth is it? Much of the problem is that we love stories, and we love stories where we're the hero. And so we just keep telling those stories over and over and over. From time to time, though, we are given the opportunity to hear a new story, or, well, to find a new way or hear a new way to tell an old story that gives us a different view. We listen to a different perspective. We have the choice to take in what we've learned and find a new meaning to an old tale. So after folks in the 40s and 50s started to own the Thanksgiving story, the story of the Pilgrims coming to a new land, some history lovers created a place to recreate what they thought it might have been like for the newcomers to settle here. They called it Plymouth Plantation, just like it was in the times when they settled here in 1620. But they got some of the details wrong. I mean, that's easy to do, but they learned through more research that the settlers didn't have stone chimneys, so they took them down. They learned that they didn't have as many possessions, so they took some of the possessions out of the houses. Over time, the creators of this historical recreation found that they were leaving out the stories of the Wampanoag people, the indigenous folks who are still there. Their ancestors interacted with the Pilgrims who lived there, and now they're still there. The creators of this historical site took in this new information, learned from it, and invited members of the Wampanoag Nation to help tell the story in their own words. As we learn that our stories are more than one thing, that people come from different places with different experiences, we can learn to engage our curiosity, to learn a new perspective, to explore what it means to see things slightly differently, to honor that our differences are what make us interesting. Let us learn from Cherokee author Tracy Sorrell, who teaches about a concept of Doe, a concept of keeping things in balance. This is a Cherokee concept. And she says, so yeah, not all things are wonderful in our life, and not all things are fantastic, but we have the balance of things. And for me, to find that balance, it starts with an expression of gratitude. So today and every day, I am grateful for an open and curious mind and for this community that helps me with my practice of always learning. And now, imagine I am Amy. I have just come up to tell this part of the story and ask you to do this activity together. Again, written by Amy, so all things go to her. We are ready to come back now to the drawings of our experiences of home. So in a moment, we're going to invite you to share what came to mind for you with a person near or around where you are, or in your circle if you're at home. And if sharing doesn't feel comfortable for you, that's okay too. Feel free to pass, but know that your story is sacred and held, even if it remains unspoken. Before we share back, let's take a moment to honor that what has inspired each of these stories and images is a lifetime of complex experiences. That each of the images or words shared is a part of a sacred story. So let's engage in a practice we learned just a few weeks ago, and it's called Dissenter and Receive. So what you do is bring yourself into a posture of reverence and gratitude and curiosity as we hold space for our stories and the stories around us. So take a deep breath, hold out your hands. Imagine that you're holding all that you know, your own stories and experiences. Feel the weight of them in your hands, holding it there. Take a breath and move what you're holding from two hands only into one. Move it over into the other hand, and then hold that tightly. Hold those stories in a safe place. Keep it ready to be mingled with the new learning later. Now keep your other hand open, holding space for a new story. This open space is where wonder and awe and curiosity and gratitude can live. So take a breath. Pay attention to what your body's doing. Is your heart beat faster or slower? Is your mind finding stillness? How do you hold space to receive the gift of someone's story? Okay, take a breath. And if you feel called to share, turn to a person close to you and share one another the images that came to mind for you when sharing the word home. Be sure to hold space for one another in your sharing. We have only about 2 minutes. You each have about 1 minute to share. And we'll ring a chime. I'll ring the bell to call us back together. Go forth and share. As you come back to a place of stillness, take a moment to find gratitude for your sharing partner's courage to share with you a bit of their story. Take a moment to find gratitude for your own courage to share a bit of your story. May your story be a blessing to those who hear it. May the stories you hear be a blessing to you. May we bless each other both now and again in the future with deep listening, an open spirit, and a curiosity that honors multiple perspectives. May we learn to thrive and thrive in the middle zones, in the liminal spaces, in the both and moments of life. May it be so. I now invite you to rise in body or spirit to sing our closing hymn, number 128, For All That Is Our Life.
Please join me in the closing words. May peace dwell within our hearts and understanding in our minds. May courage steel our will and the love of truth forever guide us. Go in peace.